Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review episode. In this week's analysis, I'll be going into the global phenomenon of mysteries and survival as I dive into Lost. Similar to my previous videos, I'll be doing an overarching analysis of this series, discussing a show that manages to intertwine mysticism with the characters' past, present, future, and even their afterlife. Before we get started on this video, please make sure you're subscribed and are up to date on this new chapter on this channel. And without further ado, let's dive deep into Lost. Chapter 1. Reflection of Real-Life Possibilities. At the beginning of the series, the passengers of Oceanic 815 are all mere strangers on a flight to LAX from Sydney. They all have their reasons for being on that flight, and each has their own stories and secrets they prefer to keep for themselves. Still, their plans are derailed, crashing on a mysterious island with no way to reach the outside world. As the passengers try to survive on the island, Samuel desperately devises a plan to try to get off the island by any means possible, including building a raft to escape the island, but others will try to adapt and find a semblance of living within the condition that the island provides them with. Although as the narrative goes on, the survival element becomes a second focus in terms of the overarching narrative, the realistic approach the narrative takes to trying to survive is something that could happen to anyone who either has a similar experience to these passengers crashing on a deserted island, or the myriad of other possibilities that could get you stranded on a deserted island. The nature of survival becomes key. They need to find reliable sustenance in the midst of all the chaos they're facing, to finding fresh sources of water to ensure no one dies of thirst. The realistic portrayal of the importance of rationing anything salvaged from the plane, especially medical supplies, to showcasing the need for law and order amongst the survivors and ensuring everyone contributes to their survival. Jack, one of the many main protagonists, becomes one of the de facto leader within the group, using his surgical skills to be the group's doctor. To others like Locke and Jin, who uses their own experience of hunting for food, both within land and the sea, managing to ensure that the survivors have a balanced diet aside from all the fresh fruits on the island. As the passengers continue to survive on a day-to-day basis, hoping that one day they will be rescued from the outside world, the realistic approach to the mysteries left within the island is something that cannot be underscored. While the main necessity of survival are key, knowing your environment is another matter to focus on. The gradual mystery that the series encompasses, teasing that there is in fact a mystical nature towards the island and that there are unsavory groups of people that lives on the island, adds a further sense of stress on an already full plate. The unknowns on the island, especially when it comes to the residing people on the island, puts the audience continuously on the edge, creating a powerful balance between realism and the overarching narrative. Chapter 2. Exploration of all spectrums of human nature. With humans possessing a vast array of spectrum when it comes to human nature, in desperate times, these nature can be elevated to a higher level in both good and bad ways. Following a great number of people who get transported onto the mystical island, the viewers witnesses a vast array of the catalogs of human nature that at times can leave a harsh imprint on the characters that we as the viewers are following. With each character on the island that the viewers follow, the narrative doesn't just focus on the actions they commit on the island. The series also intertwines flashbacks and flash forwards of times when they're not on the island, making this narrative choice a powerful way to balance the feelings we have for these characters. Even if said characters' histories outside the island is a tragedy that creates sympathy, their actions on the island becomes what is remembered. From characters like Michael, who had a pretty difficult life before the plane crash, his life turned upside down by a woman he thought he once loved, his son taken away from his life until he is forced to take him back after her death. Yet his actions on the island, no matter how justified he believes his actions are, becomes a type of human nature that one can never forgive. From the way he mistreats his son during the first couple weeks on the island, to turning into a deceitful person in his attempt to rescue his son, even to the point of killing two of the passengers, his selfish actions are catalogs that creates major mixed feelings amongst the narrative. While other characters' portrayal of human nature during times outside the islands were complicated, their story is complete by the end of the series, as they either find purpose in living or redeem the sins they have committed, eventually leading them to the right place in the flash sideways. Ultimately, this portrayal of human nature becomes the main reason the series is so captivating to watch, as we see how human nature can manipulate one's actions in any setting. Chapter 3. The Island. With many characters on the show, creating one of the most complex yet intertwining narratives in television history, it can be easy to overlook that the island itself has a major role in shaping the narrative. The island has shaped many people, always being invited by Jacob to prove the man in black wrong about his ideals. However, with its long existence, the island has faced many adversities that have shaped it to the island that the viewers have become familiar with throughout the series. As time passes, those brought to the island starts creating a community and living peacefully amongst the island. Even though the island moves around constantly, making it hard for people to locate it due to the supernatural properties, the reality is that some people attempt to exploit it for their own benefits. Like history, people seeking power will always try to colonize places for their own means. The Dharma Initiative is one such example in the series, a group of scientists and mercenaries who, after discovering the supernatural properties on the island, tries to colonize and exploit the island's resources. Seeing their dominance over the people who had already claimed it as their home and renaming them into hostiles showcases how history repeats even in works of fiction. The Dharma Initiative took many sections of the island, building it up for their personal research and taking a massive part of the island, creating homes and schools for people to live in. Although the course of history changes once Ben colludes with the so-called hostiles and kills everyone in the initiative, it becomes a powerful message of colonialism on the island. Those who look different and act like savages are perceived as hostiles, claiming land that is not theirs to begin with. And even in the present day of the series, it takes a long time for the passengers and the others, as they are dubbed, to work together. Weaving small thematic messages onto a bigger narrative makes the series worth rewatching, seeing the lessons it can impart to the viewers. Chapter 4. Formidable Antagonists. When a series like Lost is filled with suspense, betrayal, and mystery lurking in every corner of the narrative, it can sometimes be difficult to fit in an antagonist worthy of fear. However, with all the comprehensive human nature represented within the series, it manages to create many formidable antagonists who leaves behind a sense of fright while watching. From minor antagonists like the mercenaries from the freighters who have zero loyalties except to their money, even going as far to wiring the entire freighter with a deadman switch explosive, to certain individuals from the others like Ethan, they create impact on the narrative, paving the way for major antagonists who leaves behind a heavy impact on how characters should be written in the future of television. Although the series has two major antagonists, the Man in Black and Benjamin Linus, one character created a bigger impact on the entirety of the narrative. Benjamin Linus, the de facto leader of the others, created major agony for the passengers during their time on the island. His actions, always filled with secrecy and manipulating every opportunity he has, are marked with powerful air of mystery every time he's on screen. The reality of his immense knowledge of the players on the island, always being 5 steps ahead of the people he's up against, makes him someone within the series who needs to pay attention to the fullest extent. His ability to lie and scheme through any situation, compartmentalizing information even to his own people, and patiently pursuing his desires are amongst the many reasons why he is beloved by the fans. The number of bodies in his wake, both by his hands and casualties that come from his actions, is marked with fascination. While his journey concludes with redemption, his arc throughout the series raises significant question about whether he truly earned it. The introduction of such formidable antagonists marks how the series balances the many traits of narrative style that keeps it worth following until the very end. Chapter 5. The diverse representation of cultures and characters. In current-day media, the reality of having diverse cultures and people represented authentically is a common practice. Still, back in the early 2000s, it was a rare occasion for a series to feature many characters with different cultures. Although other series paved the way to the current standards of cultural representation, Lost can also be included within this movement, which made the concept of diversity and cultural representation a reality. As the series is about a group of people destined and intertwined to be on board Flight 825 from Sydney to LAX, the people on board are full of diverse characters from different cultures. Sure, there are the norms of white characters within the mix of the series, still the series had many different characters from different backgrounds, playing an integral role in the series as well. Witnessing the minglement of characters from all different backgrounds, from Koreans, Iraqis to French characters involved in the series as main stars, invited more than the usual audience to watch and appreciate the narrative, making the series a worldwide phenomenon from its inception. Seeing the different attractions that can be created from a diversity of cultures played an integral role in the series. One key narrative of cultural diversity is with the Korean couple Jin and Sun, who were at first only able to speak Korean to the other passengers and eventually evolved into learning English and sharing their culture with everyone else. The diverse representation does not only take place on the island, however, as all of the first few seasons have flashbacks and flash forward, which in each episode focuses on one particular character's story outside the island, showcasing their personal struggles and personalities along the way, and moments like highlighting the struggles and moral dilemmas that Saeed had faced during the Gulf War, to witnessing Jin and San's lives in Korea and seeing the many difficulties they had faced during their relationship due to coming from different economy backgrounds marks a powerful moment for cultural diversity. These fresh stories of multiple cultures and diversity marks a beautiful pavement into what cultural representation is now today on television, marking the series in history as not only a series for having a powerful narrative filled with unexpected twists and tragedies, but also one of cultural diversity and representation. Chapter 6. Unexpected Twists. A fictional concept of surviving on a deserted island is less interesting than one might think. Other narratives have already covered such narrative styles, and reality series like Survivor to some can be more entertaining than watching fictional characters go through the same experience. The main way Lost differentiated itself from those narratives is by creating unexpected twists along the way. One such way the narrative manages to hook the viewers to continue watching the series onwards is by having the island itself be something that comes from a horror story. a mysterious island cursed with supernatural elements that to many can be horrifying if they personally experience it. To the residents on the island, as the passengers dubstep the other, the intentions are always mysterious and usually not friendly, which marks them a powerful adversary in the narrative. The actions of these characters determine the unexpectedness within each episode, coupled with watching certain beloved characters killed off from the narrative, which has a powerful reaction of horror within the viewers, knowing that anyone can be killed off. The tragical element of the series adds to the suspenseful nature of the series, creating multiple unexpected events from the time when Jack and the others had traveled back in time to the horrifying message Charlie gives during its final moments of the dangers coming to the rest of the passengers. Still, the main way the series manages to keep the viewers on their toes is through the flashbacks, flash forwards, and flash sideways. All three narrative techniques tells the story of the personal backstory of these characters, and seeing how certain characters have always been intertwined allows the viewers to reflect and see these characters differently. One such critical event that changes the perception of the narrative as a whole takes place during the two-part third season finale. At first, the narrative cleverly makes the viewers assume it's a normal flashback about a time when Jack was suffering from personal trauma. This new revelation of witnessing events of the future is masked all the way until the very end, being smart all across the episode, creating false clues about when this event takes place, especially when it brings back Jack's ex-wife, making the viewers believe that this event is taking place right after the divorce, only for the viewers to see Jack interacting with Kate at the very end. This narrative style changes the entire perception that the viewers have come to know, seeing that the creators are bold enough to tell the stories of what happened to these characters after they had escaped the island, and seeing that even after the escape, they are still struggling. With each flash forward onward foretold mainly during the 4th and the 5th season, many unexpected reveals comes to light, while also making the viewers question the events that led them to this point. These raised questions creates massive unexpectedness to a series already filled with consequences of unexpectedness, leaving behind the notion to appreciate and focus on each scene, knowing that at one point or another, it will be important to the overarching narrative. Chapter 7. The Ending. There is always going to be a fundamental debate on the ending of such a great series, the inevitable notion that everything comes to an end. Some will be disappointed at the way the series ended, while others will find closure for the characters they have been following. Due to its massive fanbase since the beginning, Lost was one of them, put into the crosshairs of this curse during its end. Putting all that aside, the thematic message that the ending highlights are something that everyone can learn from. The main theme of the finale is that letting go of the past is very difficult for anyone. Moving forward in the next chapter without the baggage you have accumulated in your life, freeing yourself from all the difficulties you have been through. Put together with another powerful theme of family and community, how being part of such a community like the one built up on the island is key to a life worth living. No matter the ending of one's life, you will always reunite with the community if it's strong enough in the next life. The Flash Sideways have always been controversial storytelling during the 6th season. Still, after watching the series multiple times across the years, to me, the story told at a place created by the love and community of these characters from the series, always meant to be intertwined and find happiness as they let go of the troubles that waste them, and by having such a strong community, they will help each other in doing so. This strong message becomes one that everyone can follow. Find a community you belong in, albeit not the same way the community from the series was forged, and allow the community to help you through happiness and difficulties, and in the end, you will know that you have lived a fulfilling life with those closest to you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this analysis has done justice to such a masterful work, and to those who have not watched it yet, please check it out for yourself. Lost is one of those series that could never be possible in the era of streaming, and I'm quite saddened with the notion that we won't be getting long episodic series like this one anymore. This new chapter in my channel is still ongoing, tackling many series to come, so please make sure you're subscribed, be sure to leave a like, share this video with your friends, and click on the notification bell to stay up to date on upcoming content. And I will see you soon for another review episode.